Hi, and welcome to the School Health Educators Podcast, where we discuss health education and how to best teach health ed in the K 12 setting. Hi, and welcome to the School Health Educators Podcast. I'm your host, Lori Reichel. It's summertime for a lot of us, not for all of us, those of you listening in different parts of the world. Yet it's time in the United States that a lot of school health educators have some time to decompress and start preparing for the fall 2026 year, the school year beginning in fall. So I thought that I would have a podcast episode with a returning guest who knows so much information about the vagus nerve and stress. So I asked, if you look at the podcast episodes from January 13th, I had Dr. Paula Youmell on the episode, and she explained the vagus nerve, like I just said. So she's back today. And Paula, would you like to say hello?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me here, Lori.
Well, I am so appreciative of this because I reached out to Paula and asked, can you give us some tips or some ideas for how to reset our nervous system? And basically, this whole episode is going to focus on the body, mind, spirit healing of the nervous system. And that was all Paula's idea, that title. I'm going with it. And so we're going to help you learn or be reminded of some ideas for how to heal the nervous system. And that would be with the body, mind, and spirit. And so before we jump into Paula's ideas, Paula, do you mind reminding our listeners some of your background and who you are?
I would be happy to. Thank you. So, I'm a registered nurse. That's where I started out in the world right out of high school. And I am a school health and phys ed teacher. I am a natural body, mind, spirit practitioner that encompasses a lot of things. I'm an herbalist, yoga teacher. I've done a lot of work in energy medicine. Some people would label that as shamanic work, and just blending it all together in a body, mind, spirit healing piece. Um, and when I say body, mind, spirit, like I don't like to make people think that there's anything separate about it because it is who we are as a human being. And we are a very physical being. We're a very spiritual being, and the energy of our mind is there as well. So we have it all.
Thank you, and I thank you again for your time today. And if we can jump right into, so you said you had this list. This is where I love the guests on the School Health Educators podcast. People come prepared. I love educators. Um,
Right?
and you have this list. So what are some of your top recommendations? What are your top recommendations for people to kind of like reset that nervous system, including that whole set that you just said they work together, the body, mind, spirit?
They work together. So, one of the first things that I like to remind people is that if you look at your body, like take a picture, get a picture off the internet of the brain down to your tailbone. We have a spine. And within that spine, we have this glandular system. So the spine is your very solid physical piece. Our glandular system, I mean, the glands, it feeds the brain, our how
Hmm.
we think, how our gland, how our brain regulates everything, how our nervous system regulates everything. And then within that, if you look up another image of chakras, which are the energy centers. So that's the spirit piece, the energy medicine piece of human beings. We've got that body, mind, spirit. And being reminded, remembering that we are sensual beings. So this is going to get a little woo-hoo. We are here in our human form so that we can express our spiritual energy. And that spiritual energy is a very sensual thing. And when we engage the sensualness of our being through nature, and don't like saying through nature because it means like it's something separate from us, and it's not. We are nature. So when I say, go out in nature, you can't go out in nature. You are nature. You're already in nature. But I'm going to say it anyhow. So to be out in nature and enjoying the sensualness of it. So we start at like the eyes, the seeing piece, like we were talking about earlier. What are you seeing? The dappled lights through the tree leaves. You're seeing animals and birds and flowers and water rippling and rain falling. All of those things are very soothing to the nervous system. And then if you move to the ears, what are we hearing? The birds, the chipmunks, the crickets, the flow of water, the lap of ocean waves, the smells that we get, taste, the sensualness of taste, like when we eat, and I'm going to say real food. There's a whole lot of difference between biting into a delicious apple or anything, yogurt, a chunk of butter, eggs, cheese, and I'm not going to use any brand names here, but like a triangular shaped corn chip that's got sour cream and chive flavoring on it, right? That is so processed. The real foods soothe our nervous system. They nourish our nervous system so our nervous system can be whole and calm. The no name brand triangular shaped things aggravate our nervous system. They take away nutrients in the body, deprive us of them, deplete us of nutrients in the body that then it's a stress. It is a sympathetic
Mhm.
stress to our nervous system. And then we have touch. We need to touch. We need to hug. We need to touch things in nature, the moss, the grass, flowers. All of those things are very calming and soothing to the nervous system. So remembering that piece to begin with, that we are sensual and that we need to express that sensuality so that our nervous system feels calm. It soothes the sympathetic nervous system and it brings on board the parasympathetic nervous system. So you're chilling out one and you're activating the other, which is the one that keeps us in peace mode. So when we are in sync with those things in nature, we are activating our parasympathetic nervous system to keep us in, we feel safe, to keep us in that safe, calm, peace mode.
So I know that when we started recording, or right before we started recording today, I had mentioned an activity that I know I personally have done with children and I've had future teachers do, and that was even looking at the environment in the classroom, just even just sitting in silence but slowly turning, and how that simple activity just wakes them up in a way, but it also resets their nervous system. So it's like so much is going on. And then that next idea of going out in nature, and just as soon as we can help kids in the classroom do simple things, we can bring them out in nature to explore in that way, and they're more centered. And I don't know if this is fitting into this conversation right now, but I love how you just reminded us as educators to practice those things ourselves. Just
Absolutely.
sit in the backyard and look, or go out to a local park and hear, touch, watch, all of those things.
Yes, it creates safety in our being and it creates an awareness. And we are here to grow as spiritual beings through our sensualness. And when we create that awareness, we can then integrate that awareness so that we learn, we grow, we transform as the beings that we are here to do that learning, growing, and transforming. But we have to be aware through our sensual nature. And that's everything, body, mind, spirit.
Yeah,
It's every part of
absolutely.
us.
Absolutely. What's another thing you recommend teachers do?
So, fats. Most people don't eat enough healthy fat. So, I am talking eggs, butter, cheese, yogurt, and I could get into the organic, make sure the animals are natural, all of that. I mean, obviously, the best food that we can put in our body is what's going to nourish us well. Our brain and nervous system is made up of saturated fat and
Yes.
cholesterol, and it's so needed for it to function well. Like the functioning piece, we think of thought processes, nerve innervation being sent out to the rest of the body, but
Hmm.
it goes beyond that. because our nervous system, again, goes back to the glandular system, goes back to the chakras, so that we can function well in body, mind, spirit. And when we don't have healthy fat within us, everything else kind of suffers because it's being malnourished. And the covering of the brain, the myelin sheath on the nerves, all of that is fat. We need fat. And we've been told for so long, to stay away from saturated fat and cholesterol, to keep that low in our systems, to eat vegetable oils, which are the things that actually aggravate the nervous system. And so put those things back in your diet, because when your nervous system is well nourished, it can function in a calm way. If your nervous system is stressed out, physiologically stressed out because of lack of nourishment, you are going to have stress response from that. It's not just thoughts in our heads that stress us out or other people that stress us out. I mean, there's physiological stress that comes from malnourishment.
So olive oil, that's a healthier.
Olive oil is fine as well. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That is more of a mono
Mm-hmm.
unsaturated fat, and so we need both.
Okay.
What we need to be staying away from is the things like soy oil, canola oil, all of those processed vegetable oils that are usually in processed packaged food. Like it's very
Mm-hmm.
rare you find processed packaged food that's made with real butter or pork lard or beef tallow, those sorts of things that give that brain nourishing saturated fats, saturated fatty acids, cholesterol, which also feeds our hormones, the glandular system. It's a big circle.
And I love how you bring up that fat is part of the whole brain. Like I know that people want to lose fat in their body. It's like we need it. After water, isn't fat like one of the main things of the brain?
Yes, we need it. And generally speaking, and of course, this is so individualistic,
Hmm.
people have to look at themselves as a whole because we all have our own little, um, some people just do better, like on a higher fat diet. We all have what makes our metabolic pathways work
Hmm.
best. I know I function very well with lots of butter, eggs, cheese. Other people who are like bigger, more earthy people, they're more like a lumbering. I'm a moving, flying fast type of energetics.
Hmm.
Um, you can't weigh down heavy people,
Right.
like people who are already earthy, grounded, heavy people. And yet they still need some, but they have to like their proportions of things.
Right.
And just knowing that that is, very important for the nervous system, for the glandular system, for body, mind, spirit. So
Wonderful.
that's a big one.
Thank
Sunlight.
you.
Yeah, getting out in sunlight.
Okay.
And the sunlight interacts with that saturated fat and cholesterol that we take
Hmm.
in so that we can then produce, I'm going to say vitamin D. Vitamin D is a hormone.
Right.
And so, in order for our skin to produce hormone D, we have to have those saturated fats and cholesterol. We have to have them so that we can move the hormones around the body. All of that is very important. So sunlight, moonlight, like I think about moonlight, getting out and exposing ourselves to moonlight because it's the, gentler reflective light of the sun. And so we're getting that yin yang balance of
Hmm.
sun and moon. Those are very important on our eyes for all the serotonin, melatonin, on our skin for melanin production. I mean, there's so many reasons why we need unfiltered sun, unfiltered by sunglasses, unfiltered by sunscreen. Just we need it on our skin, we need it on our eyes, we need that multi colored wavelengths of the sun for our nervous system health, for full like body, mind, spirit health, but it's nervous system health as well.
And I love how you reminded me of moonlight because I go to bed early. I don't always get to see the moon that much,
Me
but
too.
that's important too.
It is. It is important. And sometimes, I used to like set my alarm, which that's not good for the nervous system to like, yourself
Right.
awake in the
Hmm.
middle of the night. So I would just set an intention in my head. I need to wake up at 2 a.m. so I can go out and see the full moon. Sometimes I wake up,
Mm,
sometimes I don't. Sometimes, when you do wake up, you don't necessarily want to get out of bed and go look
right.
at the moon. So
Yep.
I have a great dormer window and it's perfect south facing. I'll just crawl to the end of my bed and up and peek out the dormer window.
Very nice.
And yeah, so just all those things.
Okay, so we have being in nature, eating
Mhm.
real foods, including healthy fats, getting sunlight and moonlight. Anything else before we end for today?
Oh, I would be very remiss if I didn't say, I mean, I am a big proponent of some form of inner conscious connection practice on a daily basis. So I will say yoga because yoga is my go-to tool. But it could be Taekwondo, Tai Chi, Qigong. It could be sitting in prayer, meditation, which is a yoga technique. It could be like I was in the airports coming home from Scotland a couple weeks ago, and I'm doing yoga in the airport, and I see this other woman sitting there, and she is knitting away. And
Mm.
she is just as serene as could be. And I'm like that contemplative as she's sitting there. And I could just visualize her in my head saying, knit one, purl two, knit one, purl two. That's her mantra. That's
Mm-hmm.
like calming body, mind, spirit. And I'm on the floor doing yoga to just stay calm after an 8 hour flight, from Scotland to Toronto. And so, like, I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, that's her Zen. That's her inner conscious connection. She's just knitting away and as happy as could be. And other things like gardening, again, the woods walks, anything. And I always tell people, like, they go gung ho at it. I mean, some people we've all got our way of doing everything, but you go gung ho at it. And I'm going to do yoga every day. And I always tell people, you know what? Just get it in one day a week, and then work up to 2 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see how it's making you feel, and then you slowly create it to be a daily habit instead of forcing yourself to be a daily habit, to check off the to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
When you slowly bring that in, you're creating the mindfulness, the nervous system piece, and you're creating a habit that you will continue, forever
Right.
because it feels good to you, as opposed to I'm forcing myself to do this because they tell me it's good for me. So, yoga or some form of inner conscious connection.
I love that inner conscious connection
Yeah.
because what you listed, I do a lot of those at different times. What's weird too is a couple of weeks ago when I would wake up in the morning, I would put on the TV to YouTube for the sun rising at a beach.
Oh, nice.
So I could hear the waves and I would still look outside, but there was something that was very much like, for some reason, I desired that just to be more centered. Um, yeah.
The sound of
So,
the ocean is very healing.
yes. And so you would consider that an inner conscious connection activity, sitting and listening at the beach to the water.
At the beach, a river, a stream, all of them. And one of the things that I see a lot on social media now are these vagus nerve stimulators.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're bypassing the work. Like you're going to attach this thing to your body that's going to stimulate your vagus nerve for peace, when what you need to be doing is a practice. You're bringing yourself into awareness and you're doing a practice. And I
Okay.
liken those vagus nerve stimulators to like somebody, instead of doing the work to bring their blood pressure down, they take medication, and or any medication that we take to suppress symptoms, as opposed to doing the work to bring our body back into a healing space.
Right. Okay.
We're looking for that quick fix instead of engaging in the practice.
So, would you say, if I speak for you, that one of your big pieces of advice is to this summer, if people are having the summer off from their regular teaching, to actually provide themselves the space to reconnect with their body, mind, and spirit, and so it can also heal?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wonderful.
And if they'd like any support around that, reach out. I have all kinds of yoga, like posture flow series that I
Well,
will
I,
happily share.
well, I know the last time that we were together, you did share some things. So if you don't mind reminding us how people can get in touch with you, as well as where your website is to get some of these things.
And my website is just my name, Paula Youmell. The last name's Youm, as in Mary, ELL. So paulayoumellrn.com. And there's lots of different yoga flows on my website too. If you look under, I think it's under the free health education piece, and it's probably under a couple of different places because I like to put them in multiple places so people can find it easily.
Wonderful.
And there's a contact page, so ask.
Well, I will say, if you ask Paula for something, she will. I mean, I reached out to her in early or mid-May to say, you want to be on an episode again to help out, us educators, including herself, and she jumped on that. She does respond to her messages, so please reach out to her.
Thank you.
Well, Paula, I thank you so much for being here today. Any last words for the people listening in?
Just breathe. Just breathe and take in life with
Yeah.
gentleness.
And I second that. And so to conclude today, I thank you so much for listening in, folks. And if you are going to have some time off this in the United States in the summer, that's June, July, August for a bunch of us, please do attempt to do some of these practices to heal your nervous system. Also, if I can ask you to check out the School of Health Educators website, I am slowly updating some things. I've been working on that the past couple of weeks. And, 5 stars for the podcast would be lovely. And last but not least, I do need to say thank you for doing what you do. Please, please take care of your own health because when you practice what you preach, it's easier to teach it, and we're a role model for students. So please help your nervous system heal after a lot of stuff going on at work. And again, thanks for listening in. Take care, folks.
Thank you.